As a part of microcontroller and its application course, in this session we will discuss about PWM mode, which is one of the most popular feature of microcontrollers, general purpose microcontrollers as well as peak microcontrollers. There is capture, compare and PWM feature. So in general, PWM is a kind of a, say we can call it as a modulation scheme, or it is a technique which is very useful in many commercial industrial applications. So wherever you want to vary something with respect to duty cycle, based on duty cycle, and accordingly some sort of decision making or some sort of switching if you want to perform, then PWM is one of the best option for controlling applications, like maybe a speed control, maybe some other switching mechanism you want to control for some particular machinery in various industrial applications. So there you can use pulse width modulation. Basically, pulse width modulation is a modulation technique used in communication applications like your PAM, PPM and PWM. Everyone is having its own benefit, like when we change the amplitude of the pulse based on the information signal, or when we change the width of the pulse, or when we change the position of the pulse. So all these three techniques are having their own importance and significance in communication applications as a pulse modulation technique. But in other domain, in other fields also, especially pulse width modulation is very useful kind of method in especially motor control, motor drives and some sort of applications where based on speed again something is to be controlled or processed. Then for controlling that speed we can have a kind of a PWM mechanism. Microcontroller based PWM is also one thing which is very useful, because changing the width of the pulse or adjusting the duty cycle of the pulse can be easily done by microprocessor or microcontroller, because we can write a very small code and we can simply send a particular pulse of that duration, that is on time or off time, and we can adjust the duty cycle. So this is why microcontrollers are very popular in PWM generation. So PWM can be generated by different ways, like you can have multi-vibrator based technique, you can have plain transistorized or op-amp based technique as a pulse width modulator circuit. But controller based or microprocessor based pulse width modulation, or the pulse width adjustment, is going to be a very simple kind of method. And since we are allowing controller, uh, some other parameters also easily can be controlled. So this is what PWM is, or its importance. Here just I'm illustrating it, that is a kind of on off we are controlling of one device. For example, I have shown here one small LED. So this way switching or decision making or controlling is done with PWM. As a part of objective of this session, first of all we will have general comments about PWM feature available with microcontrollers, especially in peak, what exactly it is, how it is carried out, and which registers are involved in that. And by the end of the session we will have small example with a small code in machine language as well as in C platform or C language. Now, in general, as far as PWM is considered, it is associated with the capture compare PWM feature of peak microcontrollers. So in case of peak, there are two features, that is enhanced CCP and normal CCP, that is using CCP1, CCP2 and CCP3. So like that, these are the say CCP modules we have, and PWM feature of CCP has been enhanced greatly for many applications, like the most popular is speed control of DC motor and otherwise. So in case of peak 18, there are modules, that is number of CCP modules. So in PEAK 18F series, there are two such CCP modules, 18F 2220. So we have two modules of CCP, but each CCP is not there. But our interest is in PEAK 18F 45 series. So in that, starting with 45, 21, 2, 3, 4 like that. So that is 4520 series or 4550 series. We have the modules. One CCP and one eCCP. Uh, in case of capture mode, PEAK 18 is using timer 1 and timer 3. In case of compare mode, PEAK is using timer 1 and or timer 3. But in case of PWM, especially PEAK is using timer 2. As far as CCP registers are considered, then it is a control register basically, CCP XCON we used to call, and we have to compare capture or PWM mode. We have to select based on the particular combination from the CCP module. So you can have a high or low register bits of CCP, and accordingly you have to select. As far as PWM period is to be specified, then it is to be done with the help of PR2 register. The PWM period can be calculated using simple formula like just I mentioned as PR2 plus 1 into 4 into T oscillator. So TMR2 prescale value you can have, and PWM frequency is defined as 1 upon PWM period. So when TMR2 is equal to PR2, then following three events are going to occur on the next increment cycle. That is, TMR2 is cleared, the CCP1 pin is set. That is, if PWM duty cycle is 0%, then definitely it will not get set. That is, on time itself is 0. So otherwise it will get set, and the PWM duty cycle is latched from CCP R1L into CCP R1H. So this is basic mechanism. This is a general thing, that is, it is a technique by which width of the pulse is varied while keeping the frequency of the wave constant. Here you can notice the frequency remains constant. Now there are a number of options, like say for example here it is 50% in first case, T on and T off is same. In second case there is a 10% on and 90% off, so we call it as 10% duty cycle. In the third case there is 30% on and 70% off, or in the fourth case 70% on and 30% off. So like that, the way you want, accordingly you can adjust the duty cycle of the signal. Now in general, I have taken here 18F4550. So you have a generic structure, and especially RC1 and RC2, these two pins are playing important role, CCP1 and CCP2. So these two are the PWM pins. So you have for 450 series, pin number 16 and pin number 17. These two pins are CCP pins. So you can use them. Then in general, the register involved is CCP1 con, as I mentioned. So you can see the bits, bit 7 and 6 it is unimplemented, so it is 0 by default. Bit 5 to 4, so the bits are DCXB1 to DCXB0, so 5 and 4. So these two bits, PWM duty cycle bit 1 and bit 0. Then unused, compare mode and unused. Now in case of PWM mode, you have to be careful. These bits are the two LS bits, that is bit 1 and bit 0 of the 10 bit PWM duty cycle. The upper 8 bits, that is DCX9 to DCX2 of the duty cycle, are found in CCP RXL. So this you have to remember. You can see here bit 3 to 0, this is CCPX M3 to CCPX M0. So CCPX mode selection bits are there. So total 4 bits, capture, compare, PWM disabled. So reset CCPX module when these 4 bits are 0000. When it is 0001, it is reserved. 0010 is compare mode, toggle output on match. CCPX I bit is set. 0011 is reserved again. 0100 is capture mode every falling edge. 0101 is capture mode every rising edge. 0110 is capture mode every fourth rising edge. 0111 is capture mode every 16th rising edge. and 1000 is compare mode. So if capture compare, then you have to choose from this. Then initialize CCP pin low on compare match for CCP pin high. CCP IF bit is set here. 1001 is compare mode. Initialize CCP pin high on compare match for CCP pin low. CCP IF bit is set. 1010 is compare mode. Again, we are generate software interrupt on compare match. CCP IF bit is set. CCP pin is unaffected. 1011 is again compare mode. Trigger special event. CCP IF bit is set. And last one, that is 11XX, is PWM mode. So which we will have to set when we are using PWM. The CCP R1H register and 2-bit internal latch are used to double buffer the PWM duty cycle. This double buffering is essential for glitches in PWM operation. When the CCP R1H and 2-bit latch match TMR2 concatenated with an internal 2-bit Q clock or 2 bits of the TMR2 prescaler, the CCP1 pin is cleared. The maximum PWM resolution for a given PWM frequency is given by PWM resolution maximum is equal to log of F oscillator divided by F PWM divided by log of 2 bits. So this also you can have, that is you can keep in mind before going for the actual operation, or whenever we are using it. So you have to remember this particular relationship. Now we have this kind of a mechanism. So what we are doing is load duty cycle count first thing. So this is the first step which we are following in case whenever we are going for the this modulation scheme. Then it is copied to CCP R1H 5:4. These 2 bits are configured there. Then CCP R1H, then there is a comparator. On match set low, there is small RS flip-flop, and it is going to take a decision, and there will be status on CCP P1 pin. Then for comparison purpose, who is there? So it is comparing with your TMR2. TMR2 is going to guide. If it is on match set to high, then clear TMR2. Again there is a comparator, and that comparator is comparing TMR2 with PR2. So PR2 register contents are playing very important role in case of decision making, that how to get it done. That is based on the particular say value of PR2 register. It is going to decide that. So we can calculate that appropriately in advance. In general, we are setting PWM period by writing to PR2 register only in the beginning. Then we are setting PMW duty cycle by writing CCP R1L for the higher 8 bits, and then set the CCP pin as an output. So these 3 things we are by default doing. So therefore that is playing important role as far as the comparison and all that is considered. Then the period is, duty cycle is TMR2 equal to PR2. There you can see, and the other rate, that is the complete cycle, TMR2 equal to PR2 from on time and the off time. So the total is giving you the period. In general, whenever PMW is used, so these are the altogether the registers we can call, they are involved. And like first one is INT-con. So GI, GIH, PI, GIL, TMR0IE, TINT0IE, RBIE, TMR0IF, INT0IF, and RBIF. So no one is required here. All of them are set to 0000 and all. PIR1, PSPIF1, ADIF, RCIF, TXIF, SSPIF, CCP1IF, TMR2IF, and TMR1F. IF. PI1, so again here is PCPIF, ADIE, RCIE, TXIE, SSPIE, CCP1IE, TMR2IE, and TMR1IE. So both of them are required. IPR1, so There is also combination. Trace C, port C, it is a data direction register. So all bits are to be set to 1 because we are going to use RC1 and RC2 bits. These are the two pins which are available from port C for PWM. Then T2 con. So in case of T2 con also the respective bits we are going to use. CCP R1L capture compare PWM register, LSB it will hold, CCP R1H then it will hold MSB, CCP1 con, that is DC1 B1 DC1 B0, these two bits, that is 5 and 4 bits, so they are doing the appropriate action, and the last 4 bits are actually used, that is 11XX set, they are to be set accordingly for PWM mode selection. Then CCP R2L, that is again register 2 LSB, and CCP R2H, that is again capture compare PWM register MSB part, and CCP2 con, so same as CCP1 con, there is DC2B1, DC2B0 and CCP2M3, CCP2M2, CCP2M1 and CCP2M0, same fashion. In general, that is as far as peak 18 devices are considered, timer 2 we are considering, so appropriately you have to check for it. What are the basic things we have to do is load the PR2 value which will decide the period of the pulse. First thing, set the duty cycle by loading a value in CCP R1L. Then configure the CCP1 con register for setting PWM mode as I mentioned, 11XX, that is 1100. Initialize the pin CCP1 as an output pin which will give PWM output. Then configure the T2 con register and enable TMR2 using T2 con. So if suppose we have to consider, then as far as period of the PWM is considered, then the CCP module uses timer 2 and its associated registers are PR2. For the PWM time base, which means that frequency of the PWM is fraction of the F oscillator, that is the frequency. So it uses PR2 register to set PWM period. What is the actual estimation? Just see here, time of that PWM is equal to PR2 plus 1 into 4 into N into T oscillator. Already I mentioned in the second slide only. Generically I mentioned, here it is specific one. So where T oscillator is inverse of one, that is 1 upon F oscillator, the crystal frequency. T PWM is the desired PWM period. N is the prescaler of 1:4 or 16 set by timer 2 control register, that is T2 con. And we can get the value for the PR2 register as follows. So here you can see PR2 is equal to F oscillator divided by F PWM into 4 into N whole minus 1. Now you can use this equation. So maximum value for T PWM can be achieved when N is equal to 16. That is scaling value. PR2 is equal to 255. So we have T PWM is equal to 255. That is PR2 we are loading with maximum value 255 plus 1 into 4 into 16 into T oscillator. So it is 16382 T oscillator. So which means that minimum allowed F frequency of PWM is F oscillator divided by 16382. That is the scaling value. Now for example, just I have illustrated here for two frequency values. Now see, crystal frequency is assumed as 10 megahertz. Now CCP1RL and DC1B2 and DC1B1. So how we are going to give? Now PR2 is equal to F oscillator divided by 4 into FPWM into N. Now suppose we are taking N is equal to 16 prescale, and that will be 10 megahertz, that is a crystal frequency, divided by 4 into 1 into 16 minus 1. So 156 minus 1, it comes out to be 155. And say for example, if we want 75% duty cycle, then it will become 155 into 75%. So that is giving you 116.25. So CCP R1L will be equal to 116. So DC1B2 to DC1B1 is equal to 0.1 for the 0.25 portion. Now using PR2 value, then F oscillator second case, that is 2.5 kilohertz. So there we are getting 250 minus 1, that is 249, and the values will be 249 into 75%, it gives 186.75, and therefore CCP R1L we are getting the value 186, and DC1B2 to DC1B1 the value is coming 11 for 0.75 portion. So this way you can now say for example we want to find PR2 value and the prescaler needed to get the following PWM frequencies like 1.12 kilohertz, 4.88 kilohertz and 78.125 kilohertz. So first one, for example, 20 megahertz crystal, 20 megahertz divided by 4 into 1.22 whole bracket minus 1. So it is giving you 4097, which is larger than 255. The maximum value allowed for PR2 is 255 only. So now we can't use this particular. So therefore prescaler of 16 we get 20 megahertz divided by 4 into 1.22 kilohertz into 16 minus 1. So it is giving you maximum 255. In the second case, PR2 value is coming 102023. Again, it is greater than 255. So again, you have to adjust it. So if we prescale by 4, then we are getting value 255. And in the third case, with the one prescale value only, we are getting it 63. So that is permissible. Just as an example, I have shown you, nothing else. That is how to get the values and how to adjust it. In general, what is CCP R1H and the L is doing, that CCP R1L is loaded into CCP R1H and CCP1 pin goes high to start the beginning of the period. As TMR2 counts up, the TMR2 value is compared with both the CCP R1H and PR2 register. So when TMR2 and CCP R1H, which is same as CCP R1L values are equal, then CCP pin is forced to low. So that ends the duty cycle portion of the period. So the TMR2 keeps counting up until its value matches with PR2. Getting? So that is the basic thing behind. Because CCP R1L is a fraction of PR2, timer 2 matches CCP R1L first before it matches PR2. Unless we are 100% duty cycle. So in that case, timer 2 matches both CCP R1L and CCP PR2 at the same time because they have equal values, that is 100% duty cycle. So this is the case. Even you can have this T2 con setting like T out PS3 to T out PS0. First 4 bits values are 0000 to 1111. Last one, that is 1:16 scaling. Then TMR2 on, that is timer 2 on and off control bit 1 enable, 0 is disable. T2 CKPS1 to T2 CKPS0. So here D1 to D0 timer 2 clock prescale select bits. 00 is prescaler 1, 01 is 4 and 1x, that is 1 don't care, is 60. Now here is one small example. So where we are considering the simple small program. So in the beginning what we have done is clear CCP1 that register, that particular con. So it is going to clear that, clear F. Then I have written move LW. So I want to use 75% duty cycle and my 2.5 kilohertz actually I missed there. I have taken 2.5 kilohertz, I missed that 5 there, just remember. So I will make it correct, but if it is not, then you just remember it. Then move LW to 49, move WF PR2. So it is going to copy that. Now move LW 186. So for 75% duty cycle, it is coming out to be 186. As we calculated in the previous slide, you go and you just check once again. So move WF CCP R1L. Now BCF trace C CCP1. Make PWM pins and output. And move LW 0x01 timer 2 prescaler value. We are making 4 prescale and no post scaling. So this is to be copied into T2 core. Now PWM mode. So there you have to make it 11XX. So DC1 B1 to B0. So therefore it is copied move LW 0x3C. Then move WF CCP1 con. So that is to be passed to CCP1 con register. Now clear TMR2. Bit set, you check T2 con with TMR2 on. Turn on timer 2. From T2 con register, TMR2 is made on. And now bit clear PIR1 from that TMR2 IF, clear timer 2 flag, and do that and wait for that particular end. So for that BTFSS PIR1 comma TMR2 IF, and then branch over. So it will go on doing that unless you are checking there. So therefore whatever is your count, that is well, according to the duty cycle, whatever is count, so unless it matches, it will not come out. It will remain in the loop, and it is going to set the flag based on the contents. That is, we are testing that. So bit test particular that file register. So we are checking that, and skip if set. We are saying skip if set. So there is TMR2 IF flag. So for that we are checking, and branch over. So be in there in that loop. Go to again. It will continue. So it will remain in that loop and continuously produce the respective cycle. Just here you consider it is 2.5 kilohertz. In the previous calculation I have done it with 2.5 kilohertz. So 3 slides back you just go and you can get there from where this 249 is coming and how this 186 is coming. So both these values you will get clear. You will able to get clear these two. Okay, if you refer that slide once again. And in C language, same thing. In the beginning CCP1 con you make 0, PR2 you load with 249, and CCP R1L you load with the duty cycle figure, that is 186. Trace, so that we are making PWM pin output. So respectively trace C2, RC2 pin, and T2 con is equal to 0x01. So timer 2 for prescaler and no prescaler. So you once again you can refer the slide where I have shown the timer 2 pattern. Then CCP1 con 0x3C, that is PWM mode settings. So only 11XX last bits, and then T2 con bits dot TMR2 on, because we want to make it 1 because that is to be turned on. Turn on the timer, and while 1 in the loop PIR1 bits dot TMR2 IF is equal to 0 while this particular setting is equal to 0 till end of the period. So you be in that and go on to it. So that will produce the simple PWM output. So I will be demonstrating it these things with our MP-Lab. So even you refer that particular video also. I will be uploading it. So accordingly you will able to get the exact understanding how it gets executed. So thank you.